Yo, what's going on, guys? So in today's video, we are going to be going over my build in Throne and Liberty. Now, I use bow and dagger, and as many of you guys know, this is kind of a very mid build, but with this build, it's not going to be so mid anymore. But before we get into that, I just want to remind you guys, we are doing a 1K sub giveaway, so make sure you guys smash that sub button, drop a like, leave a comment. Seriously, it really helps the channel out, and it is absolutely free, and we want to give back to you guys, so let's get to 1K as quickly as possible. And a happy New Year's to you all. It is good to be back. So we're going to jump straight in with the gear. Now, there's a few things that I would have traded out, knowing now what I do know. But when we come out with our tier 2 build, I already have things set up, planned, all that good stuff. We're going to get straight into the gear. So first things first, for bow and dagger, or dagger and bow, obviously right now, the Aquarius Wicked Thorns. Now, these are your tier 1 bread and butter. Absolutely amazing. You're gonna have hit chance, critical hit chance, heavy attack chance. We're just gonna be boosting damage like nobody's business. We're gonna go into the runes later, but as you can see, we have 3 dex and attack speed. Literally anything that boosts damage you are going to want. Now, I have Toblik's Death Mark, but I might have changed it for Karnix's bow, but either way, it doesn't really matter. Now, it's a little bit too late for that, but either way, both work decently well. And the same thing goes for your bow. You got heavy attack, hit chance, critical hit chance, all things to boost your damage. Now, if we come over to the armor side, we have a 4-piece Shadow Harvester set. We have the mask, we have the chest, we have the pants, and then we have the gloves. Now, for all of them, we have basically evasion and a couple of endurance. For our mask, we have cooldown speed. I might have changed a few things around, honestly. I might have gone strictly endurance, but, you know, I was sort of going in between a PvP build and a PvE build. It is what it is. It'll be better once we get to tier 2. I'll actually have a decent knowledge on this and know exactly what we want with tier 2, but either way, it still works. Your survivability, when I'm doing things like Island of Terror and all these other things with insta-wipe mechanics, you can basically tank a insta-wipe mechanic one time, maybe not twice, but you can do it one time. Now, as it goes for your cape, I prefer the Eldritch Whispers because this adds attack speed, bonus damage, and health regen. You already have low health regen with this build, but the main reason why you're doing it is because the attack speed and the bonus damage. Again, like I said, you're going to be wanting to do a ton of damage, just absolutely ridiculously quickly. As it goes for the boots, we're going to be using the Heroic Resistance. Now, I would have probably traded this out maybe for something else, maybe a 2 set of something, but either way, here's where we are. We have the Clasp of the Conqueror, the buff duration, max health, skill damage boost, the Skillful Charging Bracelet, same thing. Now, as it goes for the rings, we have the Band of the Chosen One because it has the added attack speed. I personally may have gone for something different, but the attack speed is the highest. That's what we want. Same thing here, max health, skill damage boost, buff duration. Now, I use the Violent Signet Ring specifically because all the other purple rings minus the Band of the Chosen One have attack speed 4%. This one has 5%. It's better, so that's why I use it. And then the Girdle of Spectral Skulls. This one's a nice one for mana regen because this build is a mana hungry son of a gun. You will go through so much mana, it's not even funny. So that's why we have a double mana regen on here. Now, as it goes for skills, this is where it gets a little bit tricky because, again, everything is up to preference. I say this basically in every build for every video game that I make. It's really up to preference, but I've done, I wouldn't say extensive testing because, again, I'm not trying to take this game too try hard, but from the testing I have done, this is basically what I've come up with. Now, for your defensive skill, you're going to be using Block Blade. The main reason for this is whenever there's a Fury attack, you get mana back, and as I said before, this is a mana guzzling build. You're going to want to have that. Next one, you're going to have Thunder Spirit. This one basically boosts your melee damage and also allows you to chain your damage. So basically your blades become an AoE weapon. It's really nice, especially in PvE. The next one is going to be Lightning Infusion. This one also boosts your damage. Now, you're going to see a trend with the skills. You're going to want to have a ton of Thundercloud on here. And the reason why is because it applies weaken, which, if you guys know from my field boss video, weaken allows you to get assist contribution from world bosses, also allows you to do more damage for you and your group. It's very, very nice. Next one is going to be Cleaving Moonlight. This one is just going to be like your bread and butter go-to. It's basically going to be like your better version of your light attack. This one has a really short cooldown, as you can see, 4.6 seconds. You're going to be using it a lot. Very nice. As it goes for the bow, this is also another one that is going to be like your bread and butter damage dealer. It's going to be Zephyr's Knock, 4.6 seconds, nice and easy. Next one is going to be Strafing. This one is going to be your first sort of like high damage dealing one. Each one of these basically does like 1,000 damage at max, if not a little more. I think it's like 1,200, but doesn't matter. This one is a single target, going to be very good for dealing damage. Very nice. Next one is going to be Mad Sword Dance. Now this is another AoE, but it also can be used on single target. It does a ton of damage and allows you to just absolutely pump. Next one is going to be paired with Decisive Bombardment. This one is called Fatal Stigma, and you're going to basically put this on a target, use Decisive Bombardment together, and you're basically going to be able to proc this way more. I'll show you that with the skill Specializations after this, but this is basically single target, allows you to do a ton of damage. Now the rest of them are basically going to be a sort of like your backup skills, I guess you could say, or however you want to call it. But you have a healing one, so Flash Wave. This isn't really for doing damage. This is just to give your team like AoE heals. Is really nice. The next one is going to be for yourself, Nature's Blessing. This is going to be your self heal. And then the last one, Deadly Marker, is going to be tied in with Blitz. Now these two stack together. You put a Deadly Marker on every, I think it's every critical hit, you get your skill cooldown by 1%. You tie that with this, so every critical hit is going to be 2%. And this goes for all your group mates and just allows you to get your skills way quicker. Now, as it goes for Specializations, we're going to be going over the Cleaving Moonlight first. So the first one you're going to want to be using is Consecutive Use. Can be used one more time. This just allows you to do one more use of your Cleaving Moonlight, more damage, all that good stuff. Next one is Thunderclouds. As I said before, applying Weaken is incredibly important for you and your group. It allows you to do more damage, all that good stuff. And the last one is Attack Speed Increase while Consecutive Use. This is just, again, attack speed. We're going to want to be increasing our attack speed as much as we possibly can. On to Lightning Infusion. Lightning Infusion, again, Weaken. Don't need to really talk about this too much. More damage. The Thunder Spirit, what we're going to be using is this one, Thunder Spirit. On melee critical hit, deals more damage, and it allows you to chain, basically. This skill turns your daggers into AoE. Very nice. Fatal Stigma, we're going to be using this one. Damage increases proportional to the target's lost health. So the more the target loses health, the more damage you're going to be doing. So obviously you're going to want to be using that one. And then the last one, Mad Sword Dance. You're going to be using Mad Sword Dance. Approach a target, deal 190 damage, and can attack 3 times consecutively. Very nice. Just a ton of extra damage. Again, Thunderclouds, don't need to go over that. And then AoE damage. This allows you to do damage to people within 3 meters of your Thundercloud Dance. So that's basically all it is for the daggers. Onto the longbow. So on the longbow, we have Zephyr's Knock, damage increase. Again, this is your sort of go-to longbow skill, so just increasing damage is the way to go. As it goes for Decisive Bombardment, max charging time is increased, but your damage is also increased. That's a no-brainer. You want to be doing 33% more damage, especially on the skill that does the most damage in your lineup. And then the last one is the skill Decisive Bombardment allows you to shoot an arrow in a direction. Basically, this changes it to an AoE kind of ish. It's more like you can do damage to anyone within, I think it's like 15 meters or something, just straight on ahead. And it's basically really good for ad clearing. Next one is going to be Strafing. We got Gale, applies Gale, explodes on the 5th stack, inflicting 150 damage. That's a no-brainer, just more damage. And the last one increases additional use count to 2, so you can basically double your damage per the skill. Onto Nature's Blessing, your healing one. So this one creates a whirlpool in the location. While in the whirlpool, your speed is increased by 20%. Now you can technically stack this with Decisive Bombardment if you use this skill, and I'm pretty sure a few other skills. I just personally don't do that. I just use it for the healing and basically get out of jail free card. And then the last one you're going to be using is Flash Wave. Obviously creates an area of effect, allows you to heal everyone in that area of effect. So this one is going to be a quick one, but this is weapon mastery. We're going to be going down the entire bottom, the entire middle, and then one in the upper slot. The bottom one is just basically increasing your damage. That's a no-brainer if you're a damage dealer. The next one is sort of like your support rather than defense. This is what you want to be going for, because defense you don't really need too much in PvE, but yeah. And then the longbow is basically the same thing. Damage, support, not so much into defense. Now, as it goes for runes, this is where it gets a little bit more complicated, and I would say this is solely up to you. But this is just personally how I'm going about it. Now, I don't have all the right ones that I need, but I'll tell you exactly what I would go for. So for the bow, ranged heavy attack chance, this basically just allows you to do more damage or consistent higher damage. It's a no-brainer. For the support, I would go, I think it's Amatoi heal for this one. The less that you have to heal or rely on other people for healing, the better. This also goes for world bosses. And again, this is a really terrible thing to do, but the less you're allowing other people to contribute, the better. So if you have more healing received, you're just giving more contribution to healers. And if you have health pot, well, health pot is only every like minute or so. The cooldown is too high, but if you increase your Amatoi, it's going to be way better. The last one is going to be melee endurance. At least with this build, you have such high ranged and magic evasion and endurance that, well, you might as well put a little bit in melee endurance. The same thing goes for the Wicked Thorns. You're going to have melee heavy attack chance, you're going to have Amatoi heal, and the melee endurance. And basically the same thing, except with the accessories, it's not going to be melee or range. It's just going to be boss heavy attack chance. It's going to be Amatoi heal, and then it's going to be melee endurance. This one is completely done. We just got to level up the runes. But yeah, and that's the same for literally every single one of them. Well, this one's not right, but yeah. Now, this one doesn't really matter all too much, but if you really are looking to min-max this build, I would recommend using the Vampire Slayer. The reasoning why is all defenses are increased by 400% and deals damage of 0.6 of the user's max health every second. Now, this is not going to be a lot, but the real thing of the reason why you want to use it is for the extra defense and the restoration of health. You get 20% of the damage dealt as health regen. You don't get a lot of health regen as it is, so it's really nice. And you get a little bit of extra damage, and every little bit of extra damage helps, especially when you're using what is considered a very mid-grade build. So that's just gonna about do it for this build video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I want to know what you guys have to hear. Again, remember, this is not a PvP build, it is a PvE build. I'm not an enjoyer of PvP in this game, but hopefully this build helps you out. Make sure you guys drop a sub, leave a comment, and leave a like. It seriously helps the channel out, and we are doing that 1K sub giveaway, so the sooner we get to that, the sooner we get to give back to you guys. But other than that, that is all I have for you guys, so as always, take care, and I'll talk to you guys later.